Hi, everybody. Welcome to our self-care community experience. I'm so excited to be here tonight with Jenna Braddock. She is a registered dietitian. She is an expert in all things exercise, and we have a really fun evening planned for you today. So before we jump in and before Jenna and I get excited about working out, I want to just introduce myself and tell you a little bit about what we're doing this evening and how you can be a part of our self-care community experience and grab our free download that has all kinds of resources, little mini challenges, and all kinds of activities that you can bring into your life throughout this holiday season and beyond to, improve your health, focus on your mental wellness, learn how to do some exercises that hopefully will both be simple but also fun. We're going to talk about trying to make things fun. And then finally, how you can connect with our partners. So we are collaborating. She is Fierce is collaborating with Baptists for her program. And Jenna is here with us, collaborating with us as well to talk about physical, mental, and just general wellness in a crazy year under really unique circumstances where we all have additional stresses beyond the many stresses that women are carrying every single day. And so this year we're excited to bring a self-care download and guide to you, and to also have weekly videos where I'm excited to be interviewing experts just like Jenna every single week on the topics throughout our guide and going a little bit deeper on how you can put some of these principles into action in your everyday life. So I realized I didn't say I'm Kelly Youngs, the founder of She is Fierce. She is Fierce is a global women's network. We are based right here in North Florida, but we have members all over the world who join us online and who participate, who are members of our community, come to some of our virtual experiences. And of course, right here in North Florida, we love, in times when there's not a pandemic, bringing women together to celebrate, to honor women's stories, and also to do what we're doing here tonight, which is learn how to take care of yourself so that you can go out into the world and be more successful, be happier, be more confident. And ultimately, our conversation tonight is all about being well. Right, Jenna?
Yeah, absolutely. And with the holidays on us in a normal situation, and even now with all these extra things, like you said, when things get busy or stressful, or there's things we have to do for other people, the first thing we as women tend to do is what? Like,
give up on ourselves. Right?
Yeah, give up the things that keep us well,
Yep.
physical activity being one of them, when actually, like, we couldn't do a more worse thing for ourselves, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So this is all about encouraging you to take advantage of the time you do have and to really try to carve out even just minutes for you to stay active, because that's going to benefit you in so many areas of your life.
So Jenna, before we jump in, because we have a lot that we want to talk about tonight, can I ask you to brag a little bit about yourself and tell everybody what you do and a little bit about what we're going to do tonight? And then we can jump into the conversation around how to actually put these things into practice.
Sure thing. Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Jenna Braddock, and I am a registered dietitian and personal trainer here in Northeast Florida. And I have my own business that is a nutrition and health communications consulting and counseling business. And what I really love to do is make healthy easy, which is the name of one of my websites, that makes you have ideas where you can say, oh, I can do that. And underneath all that is maybe something you actually enjoy, but just giving you like real skills to use in your everyday life immediately.
Okay, so first of all, I love that name, Make Healthy Easy, because that
Thank you.
Everybody is trying to do or wishes they could do, right? So whether it's trying to find the time, whether it is getting yourself into the right mental health space to be able to take care of your physical health, or simply learning how to exercise or how to cook healthy meals. So I'm excited to have you here actually for the second time with me. Last time we made a delicious little, my gosh, it was amazing
A green dip.
edamame dip. But what
Mm-hmm.
else was in it? Tell us what was in it. Edamame. It was
So it had edamame, coconut milk to make it nice and creamy, and then it had lemon and basil and some spices in it. And it was something that you could make and enjoy in multiple different ways, whether it's a quick lunch for you or a really beautiful appetizer to take, to your very small party. Or your own party that you just threw because you need some holiday cheer.
3 people, hopefully. But okay, so first of all, that was very fun. And I know Jean, who is on here, mentioned that she's been eating it ever since then. I know my family loved it and enjoyed it. But tonight we're going to talk less about what we put in our bodies and more about what we actually do with our bodies, right? Mm-hmm. So there are so many different elements to this. I feel like it's about confidence. It's about actually knowing what to do on a practical level. And then it's about finding time and actually building into your schedule and having a plan to bring these things to life. So one of the first things that I think should bring to mind or bring to the conversation is the desire I think many of us have to think of exercise and the time that we take for physical movement as needed for weight loss instead of needed for health, right?
Yeah.
So I deal with that all the time. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Yeah. So we live in a really strong dieting culture, that says you're either on and doing all these things or you're off and doing like none of them, just, doing your own thing. So that in and of itself is a terrible way to approach life in general. And it really limits you especially when it comes to that moment of like, do I exercise because it's just going to make me feel better? Or, oh my gosh, I have to exercise. Oh, because there's that anxiety attached to it. So I really want to encourage people to resist the mentality that exercise is mostly just for weight loss or weight management, or that you have to exercise to earn food. Neither of those could be farther from the truth. And sure, exercise can contribute to us having a healthy body, but it's not this like exchange of like earning points for us to be able to eat or to look a certain way. It's so much greater than that. And when stress comes into our life, we really need more meaningful reasons to take time to exercise or to just be active. And so it really creates the story that, well, if I don't have a lot of time to give to this so that I burn so many calories so that either my body looks a certain way or I can eat a certain amount of food, then I shouldn't even do it. And that's also not a great way to think, because we need to take advantage of these small pockets of time that we have in our day where we can add a little bit of activity. And all of that matters and can make us feel good. So there's so many other benefits to movement and exercise beyond just weight management or the ability to eat. And that's first that it can improve your mood.
Yes.
2020 has been a hell of a year, everybody, as we know. And I'm sure that we have all dealt with the mental health impacts of that. And so by incorporating movement into our day, even in small, tiny doses, we can help improve our mood in the immediate. So think about it in this way. Okay, for all of you ladies who work, or maybe you're just dealing with personal stuff during the day, those few moments before your kids get home or you get off work and you have to deal with the other people that you love in your life. Maybe you're holding some stuff in from the day, maybe anxiety, maybe frustration, maybe you're angry, maybe you're tired, okay? If we can incorporate just a little dose of movement in there, you might be able to change your mood so that when you do encounter your kids, encounter your loved ones, your friends, you actually are in a good mood and enjoyable to be around.
Which is that's a cool idea, right? To actually feel like you're encouraging the other people in your life that matter the most to you in a really positive and a good mental place. So first of all, I want to say I love this conversation, and I have this conversation all the time, and this has been a consistent theme throughout this series of self-care and kind of bringing this community experience to life has been the connection between your mind and your body. So we've talked a lot about kind of getting your mind into the right place so that your body feels well. But tonight we're really talking about how when you actually take care of your body, your mind kind of gets into a better space as well, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned it, improving your mood. I know for me, if I go to the gym go for a walk, whatever it is. Sometimes I always want to do it. Sometimes I put it off until the last second and then feel pressure. Oh, and kind of to your point, oh, now I have to go and see if I can burn 400 calories in 30 minutes, right? And instead, taking that approach of just having movement and just having the opportunity to have space for yourself, both is good for your body, but it's also good for just how you approach the world. So I love that. Now, let's talk about being strategic with your movement. So I know this is a theme that you're really passionate about, and it's something that I think one of the things that we really want to do in this community experience, and as we're talking about self-care, is not just tell people like do better, eat better, exercise, because we've all heard that a billion times, right? By the time I think we're both in our 30s. By the time you've hit your 30s, we have probably actually heard that message so many times. So beyond that, what are some very simple strategic movements that women who are watching at home can actually incorporate into their daily life while their kids are running around, while they're thinking about what they have to do in their workday? Because I think that's kind of the disconnect, right? As you said, many of us are just trying to get stuff done, and we forget that we can actually incorporate it into our daily life.
Right. And so before I show you a couple of things that you can actually do, let me just speak to why it's important to think about movement as a strategic tool for you. I think of movement as like an easy button for energy. So when you move, when you change your position, especially if you've been in a seated position for a while or just any one position for a period of time, we need to get that oxygen flowing, and oxygen is what is helping our bodies feel energized. So think about movement as pressing that Staples easy button, like, man, I need a boost of energy. Man, I need to boost my mood. I need to go into this next thing. I need to get excited about doing the dishes tonight. Okay, well, let me add just a little bit of movement. Let me change my body position, and I can actually feel better going into that situation. So instead of thinking of it as this like exchange of when I do this, I get this back, instead think of it as a tool for you to feel good and function better in your day-to-day movements. So a good starting place is about every 45 minutes, try to incorporate some small movement into your day or into what you're doing to break it up. So we can start really small with just, taking a little 1 minute to stretch. If you've been over at the computer, try to open up that chest, change that muscle positioning. Maybe it's just a stretching of the side body, side to side. I mean, even just doing this, I want you to do it along with me if you're watching. Just immediately makes me feel not so sluggish. Okay, so we don't even need to change our positioning on the ground. We can just move our bodies to stretch that out. So maybe it's small movements where we just take a minute off our keyboard, stretch out our wrists, or maybe it's just some arm circles, getting that oxygen flowing. Maybe it's some torso movements. I love this one because my back gets tight. And that just feels so good. Or even just some neck rolls. Okay, and again, because we're going to take the approach that all movement is important and can make a difference, the diet mentality would say, well, none of this counts. Like, that's not, you're not sweating, your heart rate's not up. Well, no, it absolutely counts for getting an active body, changing our position. And remember, we're caring about all the other benefits of exercise, not just the calorie burn here. Yeah. So we got that.
No, go ahead, please. I want to.
Okay. And then the last thing we can do is just some bigger movements. The bigger the movement we make, the more energy we can feel back from that, the more we change basically our physiology. So we don't need to change our clothes. We don't need to break a sweat. It might just be as simple as a few jumping jacks that you stand up. We don't need to do 52. We can just do 10 and feel good. You don't have to have even high impact to really feel that difference. Or maybe it's just marching in place. Okay, if you have conference calls where you don't necessarily have to be on video, well, we can be marching in place, getting some movement. And I have a standing desk here, and I can even just lightly march below, and it's really not that distracting, nor can you tell when I'm on my call. So think uniquely about that. Or maybe you're just throwing 5 lunges per leg. Get up from your desk, do a few lunges. Okay, we didn't get to the gym today. We need some legs. Let's just add some lunges in. I'm just out of breath because I'm doing them while I'm talking. But normally I would not have that experience.
Is as you're performing all of these wonderful exercises, is this idea that we talked about right before we came on of emotional recovery. Can you talk a little bit about how that applies, how exercise actually brings that into life?
Yeah, so we've already talked about how exercise can change our mood and give us energy. So one like extra boost we can get from it is if we move our body in a way that's also fun, that brings some joy to the moment. Because then not only do we get energy recovery, physical recovery, we also get emotional recovery. So this is really great when you're trying to transition from work to mom, and it's like, you know, a 5-second walk between a door. Just taking a moment to do something fun with your body. It'll be very silly. Might feel weird at first, but it's really impactful. So I want us to try this together. Are you ready, Kelly?
Okay, I'm ready, yes.
Okay, so if you're watching with us, here's what I want you to do. I want you to close your eyes. Okay, so we're not looking at each other, all right?
Are you making just where I close my eyes?
Yes, you need to close your eyes too. Actually, no one can see each other. It's just you and me, so never mind. But if you're at home and you've got other people in the room and you don't want to see them, close your eyes, okay? And I want just for 10 seconds, I want you to move your body in a way that seems fun and playful. All right, so here we go. 3, 2, 1.
All right, so we're going to do.
Don't judge it. Don't judge it. Just do it. Pretend you're the dancer you've always wanted to be. Okay. Put on some music if you got it.
Salsa?
Yeah. I'm a salsa dancer in my dreams. Okay, and so look, Kelly, what's on our faces?
A smile. And I'm sure that anybody who is doing this with us at home is smiling as well.
Yeah, and so we've not only produced physical recovery, now we've produced emotional recovery, where we have spurred joy in our bodies, in our minds, in our hearts. And that's just going to spill over onto other things. So it was just a quick 10-second, maybe you have more to put on your favorite song and just rock out in the office for an hour, a minute and a half. Do it. These are powerful movements. Powerful moments to energize our bodies and change our whole body chemistry, basically.
Yes. Okay. So I'm grateful too. I want to just make sure we recap because you shared a lot of things there. So first of all, the idea of just moving, even if your movement isn't bringing sweat, even if it seems very simple, and then the idea that we can change our mood and we can actually, as you said, if you take that moment to close your eyes, or you take that moment, you know, what I always think of is like dancing with my kids, right? And
yeah.
You're dancing, you don't care what you look like, you're just having fun with your kids. So whatever that version of that is for you, whoever you are at home, that you bring that to life and that you put that into practice so that you're getting the physical movement, but you're also getting that emotional recovery, which I love that phrase. So I want to say, I know that people are commenting, so I want to just take a moment and say, hey to Karen, Jean, and then Martha. Hey, Martha. Yeah, Martha's watching me do my dance. All right. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about, which this is my favorite type of exercise, although it is probably a symptom of what you shared earlier, which is the desire to like do the absolute maximum. I am 100% the person that you spoke about earlier, that I'm like, if I show up to exercise, it's going to be the hardest exercise anyone has ever done. And if I only have 20 minutes, I'm probably not going to go, right? And that, I love what you're talking about. I've tried to get out of that cycle, but I think so many people are in that cycle as well, and it doesn't really serve us. So let's talk about the positive part of my version of that, which is interval training. So not necessarily feeling like you have to become a long distance runner, but being able to kind of work in that interval space. What do you recommend for people who are like, yeah, that sounds complicated?
Yeah.
But, you know, I think many people are just like, well, what does that actually mean?
Right. Well, first of all, I just want to say, if you love high intensity exercise, like that's not a bad thing. I don't want to say that. I love it too. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But we can get amazing benefits in a lot less time when we do interval training. So interval training is basically where we push hard for a certain period of time, get our heart rates up, and then follow it with a brief period of recovery, usually about half the time. And this could be a matter of seconds, like 20 to 30 seconds of work, followed by 10 to 15 seconds of rest or recovery, or it could be 3 minutes of work and a minute and a half of recovery. There's lots of different options, which I like. And the reason why this is such a cool way to work out is because it produces the same, if not greater, benefits than moderate state exercise. So just the run, the jog for a while, the elliptical for a while, and we can do it in half the time. So the research says that like 1 minute of high intensity training gives us nearly the same benefits as double the time of steady state, more moderate intensity exercise. So what we can take away from that is we don't have to have 45 minutes to get a good workout. We could get in a 15-minute workout. Hey, if all you have is 7 minutes, you can get 7 minutes of good work in. It still counts, it still matters, and it still gives you a healthier body. So I love that for that, really to just get away from that mentality. We don't need a whole hour. If you've got it and you can take it, fantastic, enjoy it. But a lot of times we don't. So we need to take advantage of what we do have.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I love that principle. And then you also made me think of something that is, has again been a theme throughout this entire series, which is making time for yourself. So this is not really an exercise activity, but it's something that, you know, if we don't figure out how to do that, we never get to the exercise, right? So you spoke a little bit earlier about, you know, if you have all the things going on, if you're a mom, if you're working, if you run a business, like whatever your many obligations and activities are that everybody is trying to keep up with, what are your recommendations? Because I know, I'm sure you deal with this, where you have clients come in and say, I want to get healthy, but I just don't have time. How do you help them build not just healthy eating, which we're always showing up to eat, so that's a choice of how you kind of switch and change out, but how do they build into their schedule, whether it's, like you said, whether it's that 7-minute block or that hour block? What are your recommendations for people that are just trying to figure out how to make that part happen?
Right. Well, first, I like to remind people that no one is telling them they need to go from 0 or 1 day a week to 7 days a week, or from walking a mile to preparing for a marathon, or from doing nothing to starting CrossFit. There's nothing wrong with those activities, but we think that there's this, again, all or nothing approach to this. And so I really encourage people, like, it's not the sexy approach, but like start small. If you can build a habit of 2 days a week of exercise, we are so much farther than where we are. I was just actually reading the recommendations from ACSM today on exercise, and they're saying even just 2 days a week of exercise produces positive impacts on biomarkers of the body. So, you know, start small and establish the habit and build from there. If you go too gung-ho, too fast, what do we end up getting? Super sore. We get injured. We get burnt out because we went 7 days a week for 3 weeks and then we're over it. We'd like our life back. So it is okay to start small, and it will take longer to see those benefits, but it will also be benefits that last far beyond that super quick moment of, oh, I went to such and such a gym for 3 weeks. It was amazing. And then I couldn't do it anymore. I hurt my shoulder, or like I couldn't sleep at night. I was so sore. You know, that's not necessary. We don't have to avoid that. And so even just incorporating a little bit of interval training on your own, which we're going to do together in just a second, it still can begin to build that fitness level that maybe prepares you to do some of those things later on as well. So the cool thing too about interval training, or really just movement at all, is breaking it up throughout your day collectively still can reach your fitness goals. So maybe you don't have the 30 or 45 minutes to get the recommended base amount of movement, but you have 5 minutes here and 7 minutes here, 10 minutes here, or 2 minutes there. And collectively, that counts. Again, we didn't break a sweat, we didn't change our clothes, but it most definitely counts.
Yeah, I love that. And I hope, I mean, I know that's going to be my takeaway. I hope that that is the takeaway that many people will have when they're watching it with us now, or if they watch it some point later today or throughout the week, because I think that principle of, stepping away from the idea of you have to exercise within a certain structure, but instead, as you said, and everyone knows about the Fitbits and all of that, just building it into your day and building it into whatever lifestyle you have, right?
Yeah.
So now that we've said all of that, let's talk about, and can you give us some more examples of real exercises that whether you're going to the gym or you're going to your home gym, if you're not going to the gym right now, and actually, spending your 30 minutes working out, or if you have 7 minutes and you just want to get something in, whether it's the stretch like you talked about, or whether it's a more kind of tangible exercise. Can you share a few?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the easy ways, I think, and I say easy just because it's an easy approach to it, with using this interval idea is I love to do 30-second bouts of different movements back to back. So like today, we're going to do 4 30-second movements back to back. So it's 2 minutes of work and then 1 minute of rest and then 2 more minutes of work. And you can keep it really simple with 4 movements, or you could add more and have lots of variety. So it's a way to keep our brains interested, because I hear a lot like, oh, it's so boring to work out at home. All I do is squats and sit-ups. Like, that's it. So if we can incorporate like some timing where we're trying to get as many reps in a small period of time, now our brain's engaged. Now things are changing rapidly, so it makes it a lot more fun. So we can really take any of our movements and turn it into this structure of 30-second bouts. So we could do those lunges if we wanted to in a 30-second. If you want to add a little bit to it, you can bring your knee up. So a lunge with a knee lift. There's so many different variations that you can do to things. Okay, we could do push-ups down on the ground.
Okay. I'm going to be hidden, but that's okay.
Okay, so we got full push-ups. We got knee push-ups, which make sure your feet are up in the air. Elbows are coming down by your side. And I personally believe either type of push-up is good. So don't let them tell you can only do, the full push-up. Do what you're capable of. That's totally fine. Another fun one that I like is just a punch, and a kick, a punch, and a kick. You'll feel this in your core. And I just think it's fun. This is not a movement that I do in my everyday life.
I was going to say, I love this one, and I've never done this outside of kicking a boxing.
Yeah, and it's just fun. I mean, and you can speed it up if you want a little bit more, but it's just fun to me. Another one that I like that's a good warm-up, so like as your first circuit, your first movement, is just like big sunflowers from yoga. So we go, and we take inhales and exhales. So it's kind of like a sumo squat, but we're incorporating those arms to help get our heart rates up, really get that oxygen flowing through our blood. I feel it.
I like it. I love anything squats. I have very big arms and very strong legs, so anything with legs I'm all about.
And that's amazing. Be very proud of that, Kelly. That's awesome. All right, so we're going to do a 2-minute workout together just to experience this. And here's the 4 movements we're going to do. We're going to do pretend jump rope. Okay, so just pretend. You can tap it out.
Take my
whatever feels fun, side to side. Okay, so we'll do jump rope skip for 30 seconds. Then we're going to hold a plank. So this will be up in that push-up position. You could also do forearms if that's more comfortable for your wrists. So we'll hold that for 30 seconds. That's also a great movement to warm up your whole body.
Just sneak up.
The next thing we're going to do is a side-to-side skater. So we're going to pretend we ice skate here in Florida. And we're just going to take a side-to-side motion. You can make it a nice big jump, or you could make it very low impact with just a step and a reach. Okay? And then the last one we'll finish with is just a squat, which is all about you, Kelly. We'll get you highlighted.
I love this one.
Going back. So
nobody likes squats but me.
All right, so we're going to do those 4 movements together. 30 seconds apiece. So just 2 quick minutes of work. Are we ready?
I'm ready for you.
Okay, I'm just gonna get my little timer here so that I make sure we're not doing it longer than we're supposed to. All right, so we are gonna start, guys, with our jump rope. 3, 2, 1, here we go. 30 seconds, just jump it out.
People are doing this at home with us.
I hope you are. If you are doing this along with us, give us a comment and let us know when you're done. Not right now, when you're done. All right, 15 seconds down, 15 more to go. Next up will be that plank. Here we go. In 5 seconds, keep going. 5, 3, 2, 1. Take it down to the plank. Full plank up or on that forearm. Or if you'd like, you can go up and down. Walking plank. Keep breathing. 15 seconds down, 15 more to go. Squeeze that core. Don't let that booty go up in the air. Be a plank, nice and straight. 3 seconds, going into skaters. 3, 2, 1. Take it up. We're going side to side. Keep breathing. Remember, you can do a nice step side to side. You got cranky knees, side to side, or give you a nice big jump for a little bit extra. Either works though. 5 seconds.
I like the personal recovery element.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, here we go. We've got squats. Last 30 seconds, ladies. Here we go. Keep that core tight. Sit your booty back over your heels. You can do whatever with your hands that feels good and comfortable. We got 15 more seconds. If you like a little bit more, you can take it into a jump squat. I'm personally totally fine with the regular squat. 3, 2, 1. That's it. That's it. 2 minutes of work. If you can see your heart rate, you can see what it's doing. Pretty effective 2 minutes.
Absolutely. Yay. So, Jean is clapping for us.
If you did it with us, we want to hear.
Yes, exactly. Let us know. Or if you do this later, let us know. It'll make us feel good about doing it on video.
Yeah. So think about if you did something like this, 2 minutes, 2, 3, 4 times a day. We didn't really get sweaty. We don't even need to change our clothes. We recover back down, but we're boosting our energy throughout the day. We're getting those physical benefits. We are, challenging our muscles, challenging our cardiovascular system. And so if that's all you got, give it, bring it. Bring that intensity to that 2 minutes.
I love that. And I have to admit that that's something that I struggle with. So I'm going to take this away and put this into execution in my own life. I see Lynn and Nancy, Jean, Martha, everybody is joining us, hopefully, and enjoying it. And Lynn, thank you so much. She's saying thank you. I need to be reminded because as during this crazy period, I find myself not moving as much as I used to. Yes. All I can say is
yeah, you're not alone, Lynn. You are not alone.
Okay, so as we wrap up this conversation, we've done a lot of stuff. We've put some exercises into practice. We've talked about the power of exercise, changing your mood, changing your body. What are your final thoughts for women who are watching, who are like, this looks fun, I'm excited, what next?
So what I would say is pull out your calendar for tomorrow, right now. And think about, if you didn't already have some exercise planned, I want you to think, okay, where can I add strategic movement in? Where am I sitting for long periods of time and I need to get up and do some sort of movement? And I want you to actually write it in or put it in your calendar and pick that movement. Again, it does not need to be complicated. It can be just the basic PE stuff here. Put that in. And if you have a little bit more time, do these 2-minute intervals. Do them, multiple times if you have more time, and plan for that to happen tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe Saturday.
Yeah. Okay. I love that. That is the perfect takeaway. Put it in your calendar. That has been the takeaway from every single conversation that I have had over the course of the last because if we don't make time for it, right, there are many other takeaways, but I think that that is a critical piece. It's make time for yourself, make time for that mental health break, for that physical health break, whatever it is that you need in that moment. And I love, Jenna, your insight into, make time for that crazy, power workout if you have it. But if you don't have time for that, make it simple. Do the 2-minute exercise that you just showed us, or extend that out to 7 minutes or beyond. But one of the things I want to make sure to tell everybody, and I know that we have shared this in our comments, is that you can get access to everything and tons of other resources, little challenges and information by downloading the self-care guide. And then you will also be able to join us over the course of the next few weeks as we wrap up our community experience. We will also, of course, if you go back on our She is Fierce page or on the Baptist for Her page, have the ability for you to watch all of our past videos. We were just talking about how many amazing views we have had. So I know that women have really been learning just alongside me, right? As I'm learning from you, Jenna, and all of the other experts that we've been meeting with. So go download the guide. The link is in here. I think we're going to add it one more time. And it is sheisfiercehq.com/self-care. And of course, go and check out Jenna's website. Reach out to us, tag us if you have questions, tag She is Fierce, tag me, Kelly Youngs, tag Jenna, and let us know how it's going. We always want to hear what you're doing, how you're putting this into practice. Right, Jenna?
Yeah, absolutely. Can I say one last thing?
Of course.
Okay, so ladies, we are often told that we should be able to do everything amazing all at once. And I recently had someone describe our lives as like dials. Okay, we can dial up and we can dial down at certain things, but we can't be dialed up at level 10 on all the areas of our lives. So if there are things that need to be dialed up at level 10, be wise and choose the most impactful things that you dial up in your self-care. You may not be able to do all the things right now, and that's okay. Yeah. But just dial up or dial down the things that you need that really impact you the most, that are most critical for you right now.
Yeah, I love that. And I have to say, I think we even have a version, not about the dials, but a similar concept in that guide. So if you
awesome
and you loved what she just said, download that guide. It helps you to just figure out what your priorities are and where you're going to place your attention. And to your point, Jenna, sometimes your professional career is the thing that you're focused on. Sometimes it's your physical health. Sometimes it's your family. But you can't be perfect at everything as much as we all think we should be, right? So this is the perfect way, I think, in this conversation to bring these principles into your daily life while you're still trying to be perfect at everything else, right?
Right.
All right.
I'm failing, but I'm trying.
Trying, none of us are going to get there. But this has been wonderful, Jenna. I'm so grateful to you for spending time with us this evening. We are very grateful to everybody who joined us live, to the many people who will watch this later. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed watching me sweat along with Jenna. And I will see you here next Thursday for our second to last video in this series, but hopefully many more times over the course of the future. So go grab the download, actually fill it in, check it out. And as Nancy is closing us out with her statement, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. So thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you next week. Thank you, Jenna.